All right, good afternoon, everybody. This is Shelbyville weather, and we are live due to a severe thunderstorm warning for our friends down here in Moore County. Seems like we go live, or I go live every day for a warning in Moore County, but here we are yet again. Okay, so we have a severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect here for central and southern Lincoln County, southern Moore County, and portions of eastern portions of or western portions, excuse me, of Franklin County as well. Okay, so this warning is for 60-mile-per-hour wind gust and maybe some small hail. I don't think the hail threat is very significant today. So I'm gonna look here and see how quick this thing is moving east at 55, so it's moving along at a pretty good pace here, and we're going to bring this all the way up through the warning and go at 55 miles per hour here. So here's some timings over here on the left side of the screen. Not going to mention a lot of these because a lot of them aren't really close by, but Fayetteville 23 minutes, Lincoln 24 minutes, Vantown 27 minutes, Kelso 28 minutes, Flintville 30 minutes, Mulberry 31 minutes, and Locks Mill in 32 minutes. So that's what we're looking at. Alora, that's another well-known community down there in Franklin, extreme southwestern Franklin slash southeastern Lincoln County. About 33 minutes there for y'all. So the reason why we're live is for this severe thunderstorm warning in southern Moore County. Okay, this polygon actually cuts off right around the right around where Jack Daniels has all their barrel houses out Highway 55 going down towards Fayetteville, and then State Route 50 going out towards Winchester Highway is really where the center of the potential for these strong wind gusts is gonna occur, and you can kind of see that here from the radar presentation. If we draw this out, you can kind of see a little Boeing signature here with these storms, or with this particular section that is severe warned at least, and moving off towards the northeast at 55 miles per hour. Now up here closer to home in Bedford County, there's some summertime strong thunderstorms pushing through here, but I'm not seeing this as a major severe wind threat at this current moment. Because if we look at the velocity data here from the Huntsville radar site, there are some brighter values here coming through Cornersville. It has 45 to 50 miles per hour there, and then the further north you go, the less the winds get. But now down here with this severe warning that now extends all the way into southern Moore County, we do have some stronger winds here showing up. Potentially up in the 65 to 70 mile per hour range, according to the Huntsville radar. Now, you have to remember this is looking up into the storm, so there's a good chance that a lot of these winds aren't making it all the way to the ground, but you could have some 60 mile per hour wind gusts there with this little Boeing segment that'll be coming through southern Moore County here in just a little bit. I am going to look at the Cornersville camera here just to see, and the wind is definitely blowing. So we've had a 32 mile per hour wind gust here off the camera in Cornersville, and this is a live look. And it's fluctuating between 15 and 20, maybe up to 30. So not overly impressive, not severe, but these storms are still going to be quite noisy. I wouldn't want to be outside, in the middle of these storms as they come through, even all the way up through Bedford County. And there is a special weather statement in effect, and a special weather statement is basically like the NWS's way of saying, hey, there's this storm, it's strong, but it's not severe. It's not good enough to get a severe warning. So you're, I guess you could say that the special weather statement is a redheaded stepchild of, of warnings for for severe thunderstorms. So yeah, it's going to be stormy across all three counties, but the reason why I'm live is specifically for this severe thunderstorm warning with this Boeing segment here in southern Moore County. All right, so this is going to be Hurdlow, Lois, Liberty Hill, the same communities that I was basically talking about last night when I was live for 2 hours. It's going to be those exact same communities there in extreme southern Moore County that I'm most concerned with this Boeing segment. We'll go ahead and put another storm track on it here. Taft, 8 minutes. Kirkland, 14 minutes. Bellevue, 16 minutes. Fayetteville, 19 minutes. Kelso, 24 minutes. Flintville, 27 minutes. Branchville, 34 minutes. Lexi, 35 minutes. So that's few of the areas that'll be impacted, and this is getting well into Franklin County now. But Winchester looks like around 47 minutes or so. All right, so you still have a little bit of time before the worst of the storm makes it to you way over there in Winchester. And we'll go ahead and track this storm, this stronger segment as it comes through Bedford and Coffee, moving off towards the north and east. And we'll do 55 miles per hour here, but we have Wheel in 14 minutes, Bedford 16 minutes, Shelbyville Mills 22 minutes, El Bethel 22 minutes, Shelbyville 24 minutes, Flat Creek 26 minutes, Bottle Hollow 28 minutes, War Trace 32 minutes, Bug Scuffle 32 minutes. All sorts of communities here in Bedford County. The eastern side of the county, we're probably looking more in the 245 range before these storms get to y'all. And then we have getting into Coffee County here, Ovaca, 38 minutes, Tullahoma, probably about 40 minutes or so. And then we're getting into the Manchester area, Fredonia, 45 minutes or so until these storms impact you. And again, these are not severe up north of the Lincoln and Franklin County line at this point, okay? This warning is specifically for southern Moore County, okay? I'm not overly concerned with the storms that are going on in Marshall County at this moment, but I'm keeping a close eye just to make sure here. This is a live look at Lewisburg, and the winds are gusty. 60-second wind gust of 27 miles per hour, 5-minute gust of 31. So, like I've been saying, the storms are going to be gusty. You're going to have some strong wind gusts, but are they severe? I just don't think so. North of the Lincoln and Moore County line in Bedford and Coffee County. Now, these storms could strengthen, and I'll be keeping a close eye on them. But at this current moment, I don't see the storms in Bedford and Coffee being overly dramatic. Okay, and I do want to mention that I'm probably going to be talking a lot about Lincoln and Moore and Franklin counties over the next few moments here. I'm not ignoring my Bedford County, Coffee County people. All right, I'm not ignoring y'all, but the main area of concern is going to be down here across the southern tier of counties right along the Alabama state line. Okay, including Moore County. So I feel like I've done a storm track 50 times in the past 2 minutes, so I'm not going to do that this time around. But you can still see there's a little Boeing signature here. They have this polygon drawn out very nicely, and you can see this Boeing segment is going to come right up towards the northeast into Fayetteville. I'd give it about 10 minutes. It'll be along 231, 431 Huntsville Highway. And if we were to go to the velocity data here and just take a peek at it. And, the radar is showing some wind gust of 55 to 60 miles per hour. And I just saw a pixel that was 80 miles an hour. I don't think that's right. But, definitely some scattered wind damage will be possible here over the next few moments as as this storm system continues to push off towards the north and east. Okay. Sorry, y'all. I'm going to have to drink a lot of water while I'm doing my live stream today, because I didn't drink enough last night while I was live for almost 2 hours. So if I take weird breaks, it's just me getting some water. But Ben Luna at Tennessee Valley Weather says that their Ardmore camera has had a peak gust of 14 miles per hour. And that's just south, so that's on the very southern end of this little Boeing segment. And Huntsville is also saying they're seeing some rotation develop north of Ardmore and Elkton, heading towards Fayetteville. Nothing tornadic at this moment, but keeping a close eye on it here. So you can kind of see this is a textbook bookend vortex. Okay, so we're going to have a little lesson here. But anyway, with these Boeing segments of stormage that you get, you have a rear inflow jet that comes in out of the storm and pushes down onto the surface. And then a lot of times that rear inflow jet will shift the winds out further east, but then you have some of these winds up here on the north side that kind of start curling back around to the north. And right here, that's called a bookend vortex. And right here, sometimes you can have a quick developing tornado. So there is some rotation. It's not overly dramatic at this point, but it's something to keep an eye on here over the next couple minutes if you're in Lincoln County, and maybe even into Moore County here. And that's just something that I'm going to be keeping a close eye on. If you remember the tornado that hit Longview, just between Unionville and Deason, back in March, that was a bookend vortex tornado. So usually short-lived, very weak tornadoes, but just something that we're going to have to watch today. As always, you can't ever say that the tornado threat is zero, because it never is. So if you're in Western Bedford County, starting to get in on some of the heaviest rainfall, the worst of the winds, up to 30 or 40 miles per hour, is going to be along and west of this line that I've drawn here. And this is moving off towards the east. All right, just some heavy rainfall, general summertime heavy rainfall moving through Western Bedford County at this point. And it is important to mention that within these pockets of heavier rain, there's going to be a lot of heavy rain, right? And there have been some reports of upwards of 3-inch per hour rain rates. Of course, the storms are moving a little bit quicker than that. But if the storm was to sit over your location for an hour, you would get 3 inches of rain. So, within 15 to 30 minutes that these storms take to move through, you could get an inch to an inch and a half. Prolific rainfall producers. A little bit of lightning too, cloud to ground lightning. So everyone in all three counties need to be, getting ready to head inside. If you're in Bedford County, you should be inside already because the rain has already started to move in. with this complex. But we're these storms are going to produce a lot of heavy rainfall across all three counties, a lot of lightning. But the severe weather threat that I'm really most concerned about is going to be down here in Lincoln County and into southern Moore County. And it is important to note, I don't know if I said this earlier, but the Weather Service in Huntsville has put out a considerable tag on this severe thunderstorm warning, which basically means that the wind gust and potential damage is a little bit higher than just a standard severe thunderstorm warning. Because if we were to diagnose the velocity pixels here that we're seeing from the Huntsville radar site, still getting some 50 to 60 mile per hour winds here. Not too far off the ground. It's still a little bit high up, but a little bit closer to ground level as the storm continues to push off towards the east, because the radar is at High Top, Alabama. So it's not too terribly far from where we're at right now. Looking back towards the west, I'm gonna switch to a random radar way off in the distance here, just so that we can look at the power outages, the power outage map, and you can see where the worst of the storms have gone today. So right in through here with these counties that are highlighted in yellow and red, that's a lot of power outages, right? That's where we're seeing a lot of power outages, and that's where the main complex of storms is occurring, right? We do have a few power outages up here on the north side, but nothing too crazy. So that tells me that a lot of the wind damage is occurring with these storms to the south. And if we were to go over to the Birmingham radar site, you can see a lot of gusty winds and heavy rainfall, not large hail, but gusty winds, a big complex of storms moving through the Birmingham metro and all the way up to just south of Huntsville too. But for our area, it's mostly just going to be some summertime boomers here, with the potential for some gusty winds up to 60 miles per hour in a few isolated locations. Shelbyville, you're just going to get some heavy rainfall and some lightning and thunder. I don't expect the severe weather threat to be overly dramatic for y'all. Really, from probably along and south of the State Route 64 corridor is really where I'm most concerned with for the potential, for some strong wind gusts. Along and south of, and I kind of drew it there. I'll go up just a little bit here, so you can see the wind velocities out of the Huntsville radar site. You can see some of the stronger wind gusts here, and then this is along the State Route 64 corridor between Beech Grove. I'll go up into Fudge Around up there in northeastern or northwestern Coffee County, but along and south of this line, or this corridor that I've drawn here, is really where I'm most concerned with, the potential for some strong to severe wind gusts. And even that is going to be, the damaging wind gust potential is going to be very low outside of the severe thunderstorm warning that we have here for Lincoln and extreme southern Moore County. Look at the evolution of this line over the past couple minutes. It looks like it's getting a little bit stronger as it's pushing into Lincoln County, especially the northern part, but it's still not overly impressive, in my opinion, outside of the severe thunderstorm warning that we have. We'll go back down in here to the velocity data, and you can still see the strongest wind gusts here. The aqua blue pixels indicate where we're getting some 60, maybe 70 mile per hour wind gusts here, and this is moving off towards the northeast. The Fayetteville airport is going to give us a pretty good reading here on these winds if they're actually making it all the way down to the surface as this comes across the Huntsville Highway corridor here momentarily. But Hurdlow, Lois, Liberty Hill, and extreme Southernmore County, that's where I'm concerned with the potential for some wind damage. All right. Elsewhere, just some, gusty winds, heavy rainfall, lightning, and thunder. Light to moderate rainfall is starting to move in to central Moore County and eastern Bedford County, so it'll be into Coffee County here shortly. But this is not the main event, or whatever you want to call it at this point. The worst of the winds are going to be with this heavy rainfall right off to the west coming through Wheel right now. Fixing to come into Chestnut Ridge in northwestern Moore County. And right along the Huntsville Highway corridor there in Lincoln County. So all this stuff out here is just heavy, moderate to heavy rainfall and lightning that I'm kind of scribbling in. And then the main event, so to speak, is going to be the heaviest rainfall back off towards the west. We can we'll do another time frame or we'll do another look at the timing as this storm continues to push off towards the east at 55 miles per hour. So Flintville 13 minutes, Branchville 21 minutes, Lexi Crossroads 22 minutes, Beach Hill 23 minutes, Maxwell 25 minutes, Belvedere 27 minutes, Winchester around 30 to 35 minutes, Estill Springs 30 to 35 minutes, Deckard 35 minutes, Rockledge 41 minutes. I didn't even know that Rockledge would show up on this. That's kind of funny. Tantalon 42 minutes, Sherwood 43 minutes. That's getting down there in the holler, going down towards Jackson County, but along the 53 corridor, I think. But anyway, that's what we're looking at this point. 56, sorry, not 53, 56. State Route 56. Here, starting to rain now in Normandy. So they put out a new special weather statement. So if you remember my, I don't know, might not had a lot of people on when I first mentioned it, but special weather statement basically is like a, junior severe thunderstorm warning. It's just like, hey, heads up, this storm is strong, but it's not severe, right? And that's really what we're seeing here with this storm system as it moves into Bedford County. All of Bedford County is under the special weather statement, right? And now western Coffee County is also included. The big old lightning strike just outside of downtown Lynchburg there, cloud to ground strike. Probably rattled some windows there. Well, I can't, the algorithm does it gives us the the names to list off there, so sometimes I skip over ones if they're redundant. This is the Bedford County camera at the courthouse annex. Not any super gusty winds right this moment. Thank you everyone for the stars, by the way. Uh, Tullahoma is getting the rolling thunder. Yep, I hear it. I hear it. But no super gusty winds right this second anyway. But I think the worst of the winds, if you want to call it that, the 20 to 30 mile per hour winds are probably still off towards the west by a little bit. So the reason why I'm live, we still have this severe thunderstorm warning here for extreme southern Moore County, including Liberty Hill, Hurdlow, and Lois. And if we were to look at the velocity data here from the Huntsville radar site, it's starting to get a little bit more messy. But the worst of the winds here just come over Huntsville Highway, coming up on Mulberry within the next 5 minutes, and then it'll be into southern Moore County. Could have some isolated, tree damage, power outages, stuff like that, but nothing overly crazy in my opinion from what I'm seeing here. And the wind is even fairly strong, up towards the Bedford County line into Bedford County near the State Route 64 corridor, but it's just not severe. Not severe. I'm not seeing any definitive hooking signature on the radar from my perspective, anyway. Yep, thunder, lightning, heavy rainfall coming into Shelbyville now, right along the 231 corridor. Right along the 231 corridor in Bedford County. And we'll watch this camera from the annex just to see. From the Bedford County EMA. Yeah, the worst of the wind should be coming over, Shelbyville right now. And 60-second gust of 12 miles an hour. So, not overly impressive. Not overly impressive. Tullahoma, you have about 20 minutes before this gets to you. Thank you for the stars, Sharon. Wind is shaking the camera a little bit, but still not getting a gust over the 12, 15 miles an hour. So not severe in Not severe in Shelbyville or Bedford County. Just a normal summertime rumbler here. And still watching this severe thunderstorm warning here for extreme southern Moore County. Strongest wind gusts are going to be coming up Highway 50 out of Fayetteville, and this is moving off towards the north and east. Winchester, you have about 30 minutes. Cowan, about 35, 40 minutes. But, I think that this storm is starting to lose some of its punch. There's still some, pretty good velocity signatures showing up here in extreme southern Lincoln County, but that will miss Moore County to the south. And there are some, there's going to be some gusty winds. They're on top of the ridge right now, and this will come down into Lynchburg, ride kind of along the 129 corridor into downtown Lynchburg over the next 10 minutes or so, but nothing severe for downtown Lynchburg. There's no severe thunderstorm warning there. Just a good summertime soaker. All right, a good summertime soaker is what we're dealing with here today. And it is important to note that we will have some rain, maybe some thunder and lightning for a couple minutes after, the heavy rainfall and gusty winds clear, potentially up to an hour or two of some rainfall. And then I haven't really gotten a chance to check the forecast for later on. Well, I have, but I've been looking at some of the computer models. There is an outside chance that we could have some scattered thunderstorms tonight, especially after midnight, unfortunately. But thankfully, this activity doesn't look to be severe. Might be a little strong. Depends on how the atmosphere is able to recover after these storms move through. But maybe some stronger storms in the early morning hours, and by the time we wake up on Sunday morning, we're going to be good to go for all of Sunday, right? And then we will have to watch for Monday. There is a level 2 out of 5 risk for severe weather on Monday, but tomorrow looks beautiful. Looks beautiful tomorrow. Might have some early morning clouds to deal with, and then we'll clear out as the day goes on. And we'll be left with a beautiful afternoon tomorrow to get some yard work done, or have if you had to cancel any plans today, maybe you could do that kind of stuff tomorrow, because it looks really good. Really good weather for tomorrow. I'm going to be doing a lot of sleeping tomorrow afternoon, I have a feeling. But anyway. Oh yeah, I didn't even see your comment, Conan, but thank you. Thank you for joining in here. I'm glad I was able to answer your question there. Well, with a name like Stormy, that does surprise me that you aren't going to have storms tomorrow. Maybe I need to reconsider what I just said. But hello there, Sonia. Welcome in here. So again, if you're just now joining us, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning for extreme southern Moore County. This is in effect for another 20 minutes here. The velocity signatures have come down and don't look very impressive. But we could have some isolated wind damage here, especially across southern Moore County from Lois down to Liberty Hill, Hurdlow, and moving off towards Winchester over the next 30 minutes or so, okay? That's the reason why I'm live, is because this warning does technically include Winchester, or Moore County. But further north you go, up into Bedford County, we're talking Shelbyville, Bell Buckle, Wartrace, Normandy, Manchester, Tullahoma. Just some strong wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour, and heavy rainfall and lightning for y'all. Okay, That's kind of what we're dealing with at this current moment. So it looks like the winds have picked up quite a bit here from the courthouse annex. Do have a 60-second wind gust of 30 miles an hour. So, and now we're up to 25. So the winds are gusty with these storms. The winds are gusty, but not severe, right? Not severe for Bedford or Coffee County at this current moment, anyway. This storm will be out of here. The rain should be out of here by 4 or 5. And this is looking from the courthouse annex, and you can see the sheets of rain coming down here in downtown Shelbyville, with the wind gust of 20, 25, maybe 30 miles an hour, but not severe. Right? To be a severe thunderstorm, you have to have winds of 60 miles per hour. The National Weather Service has done a lot of surveys and studies on what weather impacts people most, and with the infrastructure that we have, in this day and time, any wind gust under 60 miles per hour just isn't going to do much in terms of wind damage. Like, sure, you could have some branches broken or isolated power outages, but looking at the grand scheme, it's not anything too crazy here. Still not something I would want to be caught out in. That's for sure. So looking back at the reflectivity, this is looking at the how fast the rain is coming down here, and we have some heavy rainfall about from the Shelbyville Airport all the way down through Lynchburg and coming up into Hurdlow and Liberty Hill and down towards Huntland, okay? And this is all shifting off towards the north and east. So Tullahoma, you have probably 5 or 10 minutes, okay? Lynchburg, it's on top of you. Shelbyville, it's on top of you. Wartrace, Normandy, 5 minutes or so. Flat Creek, it's about to be on top of you. All right, it already is on top of you, actually. Ross, maybe 2 or 3 minutes before this storm gets to you. So I do want to point out that I am doing this live from home, so the power likes to go out randomly, and there's a chance that I might lose internet connection. So when the storm gets here, if I if I go off the air randomly, that's why. It's just something that I have to deal with right this moment. I'm working on some big stuff here over the next few weeks, and we won't have to worry about power or internet issues ever again. Okay, so right now we're just kind of going with the flow, doing what we got to do here to keep people safe. But coming up very, very soon, there's some big stuff in the works here with Shelbyville weather, and I'm excited to begin sharing that information with you all over the next few weeks. But anyway, for the time being, we're just running with the punches, doing what we got to do. And so if the power does go out, my live cuts out, you know why. I'm all good. Just power issues. Yeah, very, very windy and downpouring in Shelbyville. Lost power briefly out by Piggly Wiggly. Yeah, that's not looking too good for me then. But we'll see. Strong winds and hard rain in Lois. Thank you, Melinda. So if we go down here to this actual severe thunderstorm warning, the portion that's under the warning, and I'm going to dip this down just a tad, you can kind of see where the worst of the wind is with some of those brighter green colors. And this just came through Lois and moving off towards Broadview, Beach Hill, Belvedere, Huntland, and eventually into Winchester, Estill Springs, Deckard, and Cowan over the next 15 minutes, okay? Potential for some scattered tree damage, but I don't expect anything major, right? Just looking at a couple different products here. Not seeing anything crazy. So yeah, we're just going to ride this out here. The severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect for another 10 to 15 minutes. It expires at 3. We'll see if they continue this warning off towards the east. Yeah, there's some strong winds and heavy rainfall coming through Lynchburg, but nothing, severe by definition. Nothing severe by definition. Yep, Fayetteville is done with this particular complex. Oh my goodness, Andrew said he saw the zebra being blown away over by the airport. Hang on to your hats, Mr. Zebra. we can have a good laugh every once in a while here. But the power is out in downtown Lynchburg. Thank you, Rebecca. Yeah, these gusty winds can cause a few random power outages for sure. There's no doubt about that. And looking. Well, I guess Huntsville doesn't want to load the velocity data for me, so we'll just go off the reflectivity here. I'm going to check the web outage viewer from Duck River. Maybe. It's being really slow. I don't know if that's my computer or the actual internet being slow. Okay, it's got to be on Duck River's end there, with the power outage viewer being slow, because everything else is running smoothly on my end. So anyway, heavy rainfall, gusty winds in Lynchburg right now, coming into Tullahoma very, very soon. This will be right along the 269 corridor between Tullahoma and Wartrace up to Bell Buckle within the next 5 minutes or so. Okay, what in the world just happened there? Okay. What in the world was that? Was that the Huntsville radar doing that? I don't know. That was interesting. I'm glad that went back to normal. I've never seen that happen before. But internet out off the square in Lynchburg, power's back on in downtown Lynchburg, but flickering. So a few power outages are possible here. Wind here at 6441A was intense there for just a minute. Power went off, then came right back on. So it looks like that I'm going to be dealing with the power outage here momentarily. We'll stay live until that happens, though. It is not the high-res velocity. Hold on. Okay, there we go. This is what I wanted to show again. So you can kind of see where the strongest wind gusts are occurring right on to show again. So you can kind of see where the strongest wind gusts are occurring right along this line here where the red and the green particular showing the rush of the wind as the storm comes in, right? And that's what we're seeing. Just some gusty winds, maybe up to 30 miles an hour here. Let's see what the Shelbyville site ended up gusting to. It gusted to 28.7, so nothing overly dramatic. So a new severe thunderstorm warning has just come out, and now the severe thunderstorm warning does include Moore County. So this is going to be for all of Franklin County pretty much, and eastern Moore County along the Highway 55 corridor coming into Tullahoma. So you can kind of see the polygon here. There's a lot going on, a lot of boxes, but you can kind of see the general. I don't know why I did that, but you can kind of see the general outline of the polygon here. And it's very big. Goes all the way. I don't know why I did that, but you can kind of see the general outline of the polygon here. To so pretty pretty impressive warning box at least. The storms, on the other hand, are not overly impressive. They're could have very um, very localized wind damage. Could have some brief wind gust up to 60 miles per hour in a few locations, especially south of Coffee County. But I do not see there being a major um, severe weather event with this as this continues. I can see the black clouds coming over the hill here, so we'll see how much longer we're able to stay live. And I'll zoom out just a little bit here, and you can kind of see where the worst of the storms are at this current moment anyway. And then we'll have some light to moderate rain to get through out behind, but the worst of the storms here are pushing off towards the east at around 55 miles an hour. Coming up into Winchester, Tullahoma, Normandy now. Winchester, Tullahoma, Normandy now. And if I do happen to drop connection, we'll we'll do what we had to do. But the worst of the winds are coming through the Motlow area around Tullahoma right now, but they'll move out fairly quickly, and we'll just be left with some moderate to heavy rainfall. So here comes the wind, and 30, 40 mile per hour wind gusts here in Normandy. I'll be quick to admit the wind is a lot stronger than 40 miles per hour here in downtown Normandy. No, my power is still here. I can't believe the power is still on, but the the wind and rain in Normandy is definitely a little bit stronger than what I expected. Don't know if we got up to 60, but it's definitely, had some gust in the 50, 55 mile per hour range. You could probably hear the the rain hitting the window. Um, yeah, we're getting some pretty good wind gusts here in Normandy right now, even if it's not, um, technically severe. So Manchester, heads up, good storm coming to you. Tullahoma, it's coming through um, your neck of the woods right now. Estill Springs, same thing. Strong wind gusts and a very very heavy rainfall. No hail reports so far that I can see. It's just the main line that's hitting Normandy right now. Just we had a pretty good wind gust, probably 50 to 55 miles per hour, but no severe thunderstorm warnings are in effect for Bedford or Coffee County. I can't believe I still have power and internet. All right, so new severe thunderstorm warning has just come out, and this is for this portion of the line that's very very strong that we're going through right now here in Normandy. So new severe thunderstorm warning for 60 mile per hour wind gusts here. This includes a good majority of Coffee County. All right, and this also includes a the eastern portion of Bedford County. It's about to exit Bedford County altogether, but Miss Deborah, the tornado threat's very low today, very low. But let's look at the velocity data here. The storm is starting to quiet down. I didn't lose power or internet, so we're still here. I am going to put a quick note in the NWS chat room. All right, I just wanted to tell them about my estimation. With the wind gusts coming through, but these winds are pretty intense. So if you're in Manchester, just go ahead, make sure that you're indoors as this line of storms comes through. And this is moving off towards the east at hold on, sorry. Moving off towards the east at 40 miles per hour. 40 miles per hour. So we'll draw a track here for a few of the communities anyway. So we have Rutledge Falls in 9 minutes, Manchester 14 minutes, Ragsdale 20 minutes, Viola 34 minutes. That's getting into Warren County there. So the strongest wind gusts are coming through. If we'll go back to velocity data here, and the strongest wind gusts are right along this green line right here. And so they just come through Tullahoma, and they're about to come through Noah in the next 5 minutes or so. Manchester, you have maybe 5 minutes. New Union, 5 minutes or so before these winds get to you. And then we're talking about Belmont and Rutledge Falls there along the State Route 55 corridor between Tullahoma and Manchester. You have maybe 1 or 2 minutes, okay? These strong wind gusts will be short-lived, but we could have some isolated tree damage. In a few locations, isolated power outages are possible as well. Thankfully, I was spared this time from the power outage or internet issues, but The this storm is definitely severe, I would say, based off what I saw out my window here just a couple minutes ago. Yes, strong winds and heavy rainfall is the name of the game here today. So, a new severe thunderstorm warning is in effect for eastern Bedford and pretty much all of Coffee County outside of Beech Grove and Lakewood Park. So, this is going to be Tullahoma, Manchester, Normandy, which the storm has already come through. We're also talking about Hillsboro and Deerfield Elementary School, Summitville, places like that, okay, is where this severe thunderstorm is going to be impacting. And the potential for some isolated wind damage, wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour here coming into Manchester within the next 3 to 4 minutes. Coming into Manchester within the next 3 to 4 minutes. Yeah, the worst of the storm has gotten through Manchester, or excuse me, not gotten through Manchester, gotten through Moore County. All right, and pretty much all of Bedford County too. So if you're in Bedford County or Moore County, you're going to be good to go for at least through the rest of early this evening. The National Weather Service will be canceling this tornado or severe thunderstorm watch, excuse me. But we'll have to watch out because there could be some isolated storms that develop later on this evening. Like I'm talking 11 p.m. or midnight. I don't think there's a widespread severe weather threat with these storms, scattered storms after dark. But a few could be locally strong. So we're just going to have to watch that closely, and of course I'll keep everyone updated on any changes. But for Sunday, Sunday looks perfect weather-wise. If you have stuff going on Sunday, outdoor plans, you're going to be good to go. All right. So Bedford and Moore counties are in the clear from this complex here. Light to moderate rain continues, maybe some rumbles of thunder, but the severe weather threat has come to an end. All right. Right this moment, I'm mostly concerned with right along the State Route 53 corridor from Pocahontas all the way down through New Union and into Manchester, also into the NOAA area, and eventually down towards Hillsboro and up towards Summitville as well, as this line of storms continues to race off towards the east with the potential for some damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour. All right. It's coming through the exit 105 corridor right now. Coming through, there's a cemetery there along Highway 55 right at where the Tullahoma city limits change over to the Manchester city limits. Mountain View Road, out in that area is where the worst of the winds are coming through right now, as well as exit 105 and NOAA. And again, this is all moving off towards the north and east at around 40 miles per hour. Might be a little bit quicker than that, but around 40 miles per hour. No tornado warnings here. No tornado warnings here. This is strictly a damaging wind threat. Strictly a damaging wind threat. I would like to see what UT Space Institute gusted to. They had a gust of 30, so. But I do think the winds were gusting here upwards of 50 or 55 miles an hour, so they were borderline severe wind gusts. And I've been through 3 hurricanes, so I can estimate the wind pretty good, and I know when something, when the wind isn't very strong. But that was some pretty strong winds. trees down everywhere in Tullahoma. Megan, do you have any specific addresses or places where those trees are down? I want to get some reports into the weather service as quickly as possible. Um, so again, if anyone has any tree damage reports, please feel free to send those to me in Messenger, and I'll pass that along Facebook Messenger, and I'll pass those along to the weather service in Nashville because the reports um, are very much appreciated. Okay, thank you, Megan. I'm going to go ahead. Go ahead and send that. I want to make sure that that road doesn't go into Franklin County. I've heard of that road before. Clement Drive. Is that the... Yeah, that's the Bedford County side. Or Coffee County side, excuse me. Winchester, the worst of the storm has come past you, Cowan. It's coming through right now. But the worst of the storm is out of Winchester, Estill Springs, Deckard along the 41A corridor. Oh, you said Manchester, not Winchester. I'm sorry, Abby. I thought you said Winchester. So looking at Manchester here, the worst of the winds are coming into town right now. Potential for some 60, 65 mile per hour wind gusts here from Pocahontas all the way down into Manchester proper and into Hillsborough here along at AEDC Road and State Route 127. So just, heavy rainfall and gusty winds basically along I-24 from exit 105 all the way down to the Grundy County line right now. And this is where the worst of the wind is currently. You can see it kind of okay from the Huntsville radar. But moving off towards the north and east here. The worst of the wind should be coming through Manchester right now. Oh my. Oh my. There's still, some cloud to ground lightning occurring. Here a little bit of rain. We have, let's see how much rainfall we've gotten in Shelbyville. Yeah, so in the last 60 minutes, we've gotten right at 3/4 of an inch. So 0.75 inches of rain. That's pretty impressive for this quick moving line of storms to produce that much rain. But my folks in Hillsboro are about to get in on the worst of the wind. The worst of the wind is going to be inside this heavier rain band here from Prairie Plains calls Betsy Willis, Glenn, Stephenson, and Hillsboro here. It's coming right on top of you right now. All right. If anyone has any damage reports, please send them to me in um, Facebook Messenger. The severe thunderstorm warning has been clipped out of Bedford County now. Still calm over next to Bonnaroo for now. Yep, it's about to. The wind's about to pick up for a second there out Bushy Branch Road. For a second anyway. And the further this storm gets away from the radar and it orients itself better, you are getting some of these higher gusts that are being picked up by the Huntsville radar site. Like we're seeing, some 50 or some 40 to 50 mile per hour winds showing up here off the Huntsville radar site now. But just looking at the radar, interpreting it right now, this is where the strongest wind gusts would be right this moment. Basically along the I-24 corridor and up State Route 53. And so Summitville, maybe 5 minutes or so. Hillsboro, it's already on top of you right now. And Viola over right at the county line there with Grundy Coffee and Warren County, I would give it another 10 minutes or so and it'll be in your neck of the woods. So it's kind of what we're dealing with right now. Yep, Hillsboro is getting the worst of it right this moment. And again, if you have any reports of damage, please let me know. Hillsboro is getting it bad. I was wondering if you were in here, Miss Tammy. Yeah, there's a lot of gusty winds and heavy rainfall. I don't know why I'm looking down here. I'm trying to check my comments on Facebook from the normal post just to make sure I'm not missing anything. And there will be some light to moderate rainfall out behind this, right? So we have this main line here that's centered around central Coffee County, basically, from north to south, and that's what the severe warning is for. But then we also have this light to moderate rainfall to get through out behind it. Just some rolling thunder and light to moderate rain. I don't expect anything crazy out of the rainfall there. We'll look here at the latest run for tonight. Still has a few storms after midnight tonight. No immediate tornado concerns in Coffee County. This is just straight line winds, and sometimes the winds, if there's a building or big tree that blocks the wind, it can look like it's swirling in a few areas, just localized areas, but that's not a tornado. It's just heavy rain and the friction of the surface. Looking at the power outages here for Moore County, there's report of 1,058 customers out. 17% of the county without power right now. And also on my link tree at shelbyvilleweather.com, I have links to the power outage maps. But there's a big power outage I'm seeing here off of the Duck River site from Flat Creek Highway up Highway 55, going up Hilltop Circle, Smith Chapel Road, going over towards Motlow. That area of the county is really where the biggest concentration of power outages are at this current moment. Looks like also there's a power outage at Lakewood Park in northern Coffee County with 422 customers out up there. So, like I've been saying, scattered power outages would be very possible. But no power outages reported in Bedford County that I can see. Or I guess there's 39 customers out along Knob Creek Road, 16th Model Road, right at the county line there, between Wartrace and Exit 105. But overall, the power outages are just scattered about here and there. Now, Tullahoma Utilities is under their own but they also have an outage map now. So I'll check that one. Or maybe not. It's the power outage map isn't working for me on my computer. View outage map. All right. Yeah, it's not loading for me. Oh, there it is. Okay. So 58 customers out along East Grundy Street and East Leakin Street going out towards Manchester on the northeast side of downtown. And then there's very scattered power outages on the southern side of town, especially as you get into Franklin County. So, we're talking around Clement Drive, Highway 130. And then there's also 38 customers out in a subdivision between West Lincoln Street, Cobb Hollow Road, and West Side Drive. So, just scattered power outages in the city of Tullahoma. I'm sure it's probably the same for Shelbyville as well. Just some scattered power outages here and there. So, looking at the latest radar scan, it looks like this portion that came through Manchester is kind of falling apart here along the Highway 55 corridor, but definitely from about Asbury down towards Tracy City, getting probably some 50 to 60 mile per hour wind gusts here. But I think coming into Summitville right now, heavy rainfall, some gusty winds, but I don't think it's necessarily severe criteria anymore. And you can see that well here off the Huntsville radar site looking at the velocity data in Grundy County. Those brighter red colors, yellowish, orangish colors would be the 60 plus mile per hour wind gusts that the Huntsville radar site is seeing. So, yeah, Hillsboro should be good now. But again, if you have any damage reports, any trees down, stuff like that, please send it to me. Please send it to me on Messenger, and because the Weather Service is always looking for verification for their warnings that they put out. So, yeah, the worst of the wind should be out of Hillsboro and should be almost all the way out of Coffee County here momentarily. Not too much longer here. And we'll get this thing out of here. Let's see if we can see the sunshine. Yeah, you can see the clearing off towards the west from the Bedford County EMA camera. So once the light rain clears, looks like we're going to have a nice sunny afternoon. At least until the overnight boomers get here. But like I've been saying, I don't really think those are going to be strong or severe. They could be a little on the hefty side, but it's definitely not a stay up all night kind of situation here with those storms later on this evening. Severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect here, just for a little bit longer. Um, Looking at the chat room, nothing else has been said. We'll go ahead and look at the radar data for tonight. Just since the worst of the storm is starting to move out of Coffee County here. So this is looking in the future. All right, this is what the radar or the HRRR thinks is going on um, at 3 o'clock. So this is 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. But overnight tonight, you see 10 p.m. tonight and 12 a.m. in the morning. We do have a few storms that form and push through the area, right? This is midnight, this is 1, and then 2, 3 a.m. still having some scattered activity even towards 4 a.m. But then that clears out as the morning goes on, and we should have a pretty nice day on Sunday. But we will have some storms some scattered storms to get through. I don't think these are going to be necessarily strong or severe, but we could have, a few big time, boomers overnight tonight. Might wake you up. A few gusty winds, but I don't think it's anything to go crazy or stay up all night for. North Coffee, Boynton Valley area calming down. Still some thunder, but light rain. Thank you for the report. So we'll look. This is the radar that's going on right now. Right, this is what's happening right this moment, and you can kind of see the evolution of these storms as they pushed across at least Coffee County. And I think I can change how. Yeah, we'll go to 75 frames, and that'll give us a lot more. Yeah, this is going way back here, so we're looking. We're looking back when this storm line just was getting started, and then we had the severe warning for Moore County and Lincoln County, which is why I went live to begin with. And then the storm started to push through Bedford and Moore, and then eventually into Coffee. And now they are almost completely out of Coffee. Now I'm going to stay on this maybe another 5 minutes, and we'll be good to go. And I'm going to go get something to eat because I haven't had anything to eat yet today. Oh, I realized that I've been talking for the past 2 minutes and I hadn't even been on. I've been muted. But anyway, I'm giving the all clear for Bedford, Coffee, and Moore County. All right, Bedford, Coffee, and Moore County is in the clear. All three in the clear from this complex of storms. Um, just it's not. I don't think tonight the severe weather threat is that high, but I'm going to keep a close eye on it just to make sure. And I'll have an update out after a while regarding that risk, or at least the threat of storms. But our main severe weather threat for today is over, and tomorrow looks beautiful, especially in the afternoon. If you have any outdoor plans tomorrow afternoon, it's going to be a perfect day. Perfect day. So I'm going to outline the county. Oh, whoops, that was a little too far north there. But I'm going to leave this going for just a little bit here, the radar loop at least. And if y'all want to stay on and see the storm progression. But Bedford, Coffee, and Moore in the clear. Franklin is also in the clear. Yes, Emily, Franklin is good. So I will have updates about tonight's storm scattered storm. I don't even want to call it a threat because it's not really a threat, but scattered storms. I'll have an update out about that later on today. So thank you guys for tuning in to the severe weather coverage this afternoon, and I hope everyone has a great rest of your Saturday.